discussing the issue of valuation.
Sure.
And the committee was specifically interested in who, the identity of the valuers, whether individuals or institutions. To take a short break from that exercise, I would direct your mind to MOJ 5A, if the Secretariat could furnish. And I would ask that the committee allow you time, perhaps a minute or so, to just internalize MOJ 5A.
Yes, I've seen it.
Have a look at paragraphs 2, paragraph 4,
paragraphs.
Look at paragraph 2, 4.
Two, yes, I've seen 2.
And paragraph 4. For the benefit of the record, we can go on an exercise of entering paragraph 2 and paragraph 4 on the record by virtue of you reading it. You may read paragraph 2.
Okay, paragraph 2, that the custody and control of all movable and immovable properties held by or in possession or control of the respondent, his servants, agents, associates, and family members, or otherwise whosoever as listed in the annexure marked 1 attached to this order, be and is hereby granted to the Registrar General.
Can we kindly go to paragraph 4?
Yes, 4, that all the livestock held by or in possession or control of the respondent, his servants, agents, associates, and family members, or otherwise, however, or howsoever be, is it whosoever? Howsoever be and are hereby seized pursuant to this order, and are to be kept under the custody and control of the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, GMLA, pending the conclusion of the investigation initiated by the Attorney General.
I would like you to read 5 as well, but perhaps to save time,
yeah,
agree with me or disagree, feel free to, that paragraph 2 spells out the fact that movable and immovable assets will be placed at the custody of the Registrar General. Paragraph 4 states the fact that livestock would be placed at the custody of the Gambia Livestock and Marketing Agency. Paragraph 5 also does the same for wildlife. Can you confirm this?
Yes, that's what I can see in the paper.
To give you context, this is a ruling made before the commission was set up, and I alluded to this ruling before we went on break.
Yes.
Now, just to repeat myself, but out of the abundance of caution, and to be fair to you, this ruling, or rather this order, was obtained by the government of the Gambia to safeguard the subject matter what would eventually be the subject matter of the commission, which are the assets of the former president. Upon assuming office, did you have any interaction with any of these institutions mentioned in this order?
The first one, the Registrar General, yes. I've had interaction with the Registrar General.
As it pertains to?
As it pertains to the assets, yes.
What about
Gilma, the livestock marketing, the interaction that I had with them was when we, the order, directed us to let them do the tagging and the valuation with us.
Okay, we will come to that.
Yes.
But prior to that, had you had any contact with them?
No.
What about the Gambia Wildlife Services?
The wildlife services, I only remember after a visit by the commissioners to Kanilai, there was a concern for some of the wildlife, the hyenas, more particularly the hyenas, because they were starving almost. And I remember I was asked to make contacts so that somebody could take care of the hyenas. I didn't, I think there was the contact, but the contact was with, it's not the wildlife, it was with an organization called Horse and Donkeys. It's also an NGO, but I think it's a wildlife. Horse and Donkey Trust. So the contact was with them, and what I get, when we told them what was on the ground, because most of the wild animals that were there, I think the urgent problem at that time was the hyenas were starving. So they went there. I remember they gave us a feedback that they went there and gave them, food and took care of them, and they fared better after that. But that was the only contact I had about the wildlife.
I hope they did not feed them horses and donkeys.
Well, they told me they feed them with meat, and because the hyenas were very aggressive when we visited. So, but after feeding them, they reported to me that you could even touch a hyena without your hand being bitten off.
Did you proceed to touching
No,
them?
I never tried that.
So just to be clear, you did not have any contact with Gambia Wildlife Services?
No.
Your contact with the Registrar General, which assets, what was the nature of assets that you discussed with them or with him?
Yes, we were supposed to, we were directed to do inventories with, for him to give a breakdown of all the assets that were under his custody. I think the first contact was when he provided some kind of a report to give us the status of the assets under his custody.
When you say him, you referred to him. Who was the Registrar General at the time?
I could remember it was Aliu Jalo. Yeah, that's the name I could remember.
Thank you. Now, you had alluded to an order.
Yes.
From the commission.
Yes.
With regards to the livestock.
Yes.
Kindly take a look at MOJ F1. And you have to forgive me, the next process here will be very slow and
sure.
We are trying to be as thorough as possible.
MOJ
F1.
Oh, I have numbers. F5, which number?
8F1.
8F. 8F. This one?
Yes.
Okay.
8F what?
Oh,
One.
one, yeah. Yes, I can see that.
Can you read the caption of MOJ 8F1?
It's a letter addressed to the Solicitor General and Judicial Secretary at the AG Chambers, and the heading is Request for Impress to Implement Interim Livestock Order.
The date on the letter.
It was dated 27th of December 2017.
And who issued that letter?
The letter was signed by me and copied to the chairman and the council.
Would you like to read the contents, or you have the option of explaining the contents?
Yeah, it's
To the contents.
to implement it, there is a budget. So the letter is about the budget. We said, as per the interim order attached here, I hereby request for impress amount 356,000 from the commission budget. Please find the budget attached here for the breakdown of the amount being requested. Kindly note that to minimize further loss of livestock, the 4-day tagging exercise started on Sunday, 24th December 2017. This will be followed by a 10-day sales period starting Sunday, 31st of December 2017. Please contact me for more details. Sincerely, I sign, copy to the chairman, the council, and file.
So, do you remember writing this letter?
Yes, sure, I remember.
Do you remember the circumstances that warranted this letter?
Yeah, I mean, the circumstances was there was an order from the commission.
Let's zero in, before you explain, let's zero into that order.
Okay.
It's attached as part of MOJ 8F1
Yes.
after the budget
Yes.
that you prepared.
Yes.
Can you read paragraph A and B of the reciter?
A and B.
Yes.
It says, A says, the Director General of Livestock Marketing Agency has not taken control or custody of the livestock subsequent to the court order in civil suit number HC 16817/MF/056/F1 between the Attorney General and Alhaji Yaya AJJ Janneh, as per his letter dated 11 October 2017, reference GLMA/DTFS/102/140. That's A. B. The Registrar General's report addressed to the Chief of Staff, to the Chief of Defense Staff, contains allegations that one Major Jibril Janneh has slaughtered 400 cattle for unknown purposes.
Before we proceed to reading C, did you see any of those reports?
Yes, I remember coming across a report from the Registrar General.
Let's proceed to C.
C says, it is clear that the said livestock are at risk.
Right. I would urge that we read two more provisions of the order to be specific, and that's number 3 and number 6. The reason why I'm putting only number 3 and number 6 to you is to be fair to you. Perhaps on a later date we can discuss it
Yes.
in detail. Let's read out number 3, paragraph 3.
Paragraph 3, the secretary to the commission shall, in consultation with counsel assisting the commission, take charge of and supervise the process.
Here is sale,
The tagging
and
the sales, yes.
process. All right, let's
tagging, valuation, and sales.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's read paragraph 6.
6. The leave of the High Court shall be short in respect of this order if considered appropriate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kura.
Welcome.
It is understood your role was a role of a secretary, and your role was to follow up on orders and on orders of the commission and administer the affairs of the commission.
Yes.
The letter, which is MOJ 8F1, is dated the 27th of December 2017, as you can acknowledge.
Yes.
It alludes to the fact that sales will begin in a matter of 4 days.
Okay.
Is that an okay or is that a yes?
It alludes to what?
So the second to last paragraph alludes to the fact that in a matter of 4 days, sales will begin.
Yeah, it says, yes. Sure, on the 31st of December.
Yes.
Yes.
So again, my apologies for making you flip through pages. I did say it would be painful.
Yeah.
But the order by the commission was made on the 11th day of December 2017.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And as you read, the last paragraph of the order
Yeah.
makes it a requirement for the leave of the High Court to be sought.
Yes.
I would not disadvantage you to asking you why. I would give you the mind of the committee, and perhaps you can correct me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
That because there was a prior order laying custody of livestock to an institution called Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, the commission deemed it fit to make sure that the commission's order of the 11th day of December 2017 requesting the sale of livestock, because there was risk of the livestock being perishing by way of someone selling them.
Mm-hmm.
He subjected that order to a subsequent order of the High Court.
Mm-hmm.
And, Honorable Chair, for the purpose of identification, I would like to put a document that is not yet before the committee officially, or rather formally through hearing, but has been submitted by one of the witnesses summoned to submit. And it is tagged OHS 9. And for the purpose and for the benefit of the witness, I would show him. I would leave, it's a 2-page document. I would leave it on the front page. However, what I require is on the second page. It is identified for you.
Okay. Yes.
Flip to the second page. You would see something identified.
Yes.
Is that paragraph 2?
Paragraph 2, yes.
Kindly read Paragraph 2.
It says, leave is hereby granted for the livestock seized pursuant to the order of the High Court, dated 22nd of May 2017 in this matter to be sold pursuant to the order of the Commission of Inquiry issued under the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia.
All right. So an order was made for sale of the livestock to be made.
Yes.
As you said, tagging first,
Yes.
and then
Valuation.
and then
Sale.
sale.
Yeah.
Assist me here and walk me through each step.
Okay.
Let's begin with tagging.
Okay.
Explain what the process of tagging entails and who exactly was involved in that process.
Tagging is when you have pre-numbered tags, and then you go to the site, which is likely Canilai. Then you take the cattle one by one and start putting a tag on each cattle. And then you record it, the tag number. Tagging and valuation almost take place simultaneously. Because when you tag, they have a tool that they pinch a hole on the ear of the cattle and then put a number on it. Then we will record the number, describe whether it's a male or female cattle, and then the livestock marketing people would give an estimated weight to the cattle, and they will give an estimated value we will record. This is what you call tagging and value. You do that on each. Who takes part in it? It's a whole team. I was there with the securities, for the that we had at the commission. There was the Registrar General was present. There was somebody present from the NIA. There was somebody present from the police, I think. There was somebody, maybe another security personnel, a military officer. Obviously, there was the people in Canilai, the security, the soldiers in Canilai who were physically in charge of the premises. They were also present during the tagging. And then there was the livestock marketing people.
Now,
and then obviously there was a team that I brought. I call it a team of gynecos, because you cannot do this just with a pen and paper pushing people. You need somebody to physically hold each cattle throughout the range, and the cattle, some of them are not tight, so you need people to run after them, hold the tail, pull it down until it finally settles down, and then you tag it. So those were the real guys.
So your security were not the real guys?
No, they can't do that. They are real guys, but not in that sense. They were keeping us safe, right, within the perimeter. But this ones has to be somebody who is, grown up doing it.
Okay. When we look at the order that you had just read, it's the order of the High Court.
Yeah.
The order was made by His Lordship Justice Jao. May Allah rest his soul.
Yeah.
The order referred to two individuals, or institutions rather, to be present. Can you read it again for us?
That's paragraph 3 and 4.
Paragraph 2 of the order, which is the document I identified as OHS, I believe 9.
9.
Yes.
Yeah, paragraph 2.
The paragraph identified.
Leave is hereby granted for the livestock seized pursuant to the order of the High Court dated 22nd May 2017 in this matter to be sold pursuant to the order of the Commission of Inquiry issued on the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia.
And the next paragraph?
Next paragraph 3, the Honorable Sheriff of the Gambia is ordered to conduct the sale, and all proceeds of the sale be kept by the Honorable Sheriff in an interest-bearing account, pending conclusion of the Commission of Inquiry or further orders of the court. That's number 3. Number 4, the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency shall assist the sheriff in the valuation of the livestock.
So, according to that order,
Yeah.
2 institutions were identified,
Yes.
2 public offices.
Yes.
One was the office of the sheriff,
Yes.
the second was Gilma,
Yes.
if you can refer to it as that from
Yes.
now on. Was the office of the sheriff present during the tagging?
No, you have to understand the context of this order that I'm reading from. This order that was represented with Kimbenta actually came in at the end of the tagging and the valuation. There is a history to this. There is an chain of email between me, the lead counsel, and the AG, and Kimbenta, and working with the other counsel, Ananjai. The order, after we did the tagging and the valuation, I think that ended on the 28th or so. Before we could move to the next step, which was the sales, the lead counsel called me and said that the sales should not take place, it should hold on phone. I said, oh really? He said, yes. He said, why? He said, because the order of the commission is going to be referred to the High Court. I said, well, yes, okay. From then, the lawyers, the Ananjai was the first instruction of the lead counsel to write something, that needs to go to the High Court to effect what she explained to me. Then there was an email to the AG by the lead counsel saying that they need something to be submitted to the High Court for an order. And then that was forwarded. Then Kim Bentar responded that he is proceeding as instructed by the AG to do this order. And then, obviously, after that, the order came. I have the chain of emails with me that I'm talking about.
Fantastic. The chain of emails is very important.
Yes.
Perhaps you can present it to one of the secretaries and we would subsequently include it into the evidence. It goes right at the heart of the mandate of this committee, and which is one of the limbs of the mandate, which is the identification of assets. And since tagging is a form of identification, it would go at the heart of our mandate. Just if you could give us more context. So the order of the court asked that valuation should be done by Gilma, or rather the office of the sheriff in consultation with Gilma. Correct?
Which section are you referring to?
That should be 4. 3.
The Gambia Livestock Marketing Board shall assist the sheriff in the valuation of the livestock.
Yes.
Yeah, this is because the people who push this order, the AG, Kimbenta, and the lead counsel, all of them knew, or at least the lead counsel and the AG knew at that time, that we have already done tagging and valuation and completed. I think the purpose of the order was not, the purpose of the action they took was not about valuation and tagging. The purpose of their action was to transfer the sales to the sheriff. That's what I thought.
Fair enough. So the rationale for the commission selling the cattle is clear in the order.
Yes.
Because they were being sold, and already 400 cattle had already been sold. Rather killed, slaughtered, if I may say. Use a
Yeah, that's what I can see in the report.
And the commission decided that perhaps it was time to preserve those assets and convert them into cash.
Yes.
Can we zero in to the tagging and valuation procedure again? And if you look at your submission, AMK7 to be specific, which is a 19-page Excel sheet.
Okay.
And as you look at that document,
Yes.
could you explain, you have highlighted the personnel that were present on the ground
Okay.
for tagging. Can you explain why the commission needed to invite such a vast pool of expertise from the NIA to the Office of the Registrar General's office? The Office of the Registrar General, sorry.
Yeah, the Registrar General, the Registrar General actually was the custodian, according to, like you said, in the early 2017 order. So anything that the Commission is doing with its assets, the Registrar General is always in the picture. So my understanding was that he also had a team, which is that includes the NIA and the other security staff that he normally moves with, because he didn't go to Kanilai alone. So we found them together. So when we called the Secretary General, the AG, the Registrar General, he would come with his team. I have no say over who he brings. What I have with me, I have my my bodyguard, if you call it. He moves with me, and then because Kanilai at that time was considered, a risky place, we go with at least one pickup of guards. To protect ourselves.
A full pickup of guards.
Yeah, to maybe 5 people or so, we go with, and yes, they are armed, because this, was not considered to be a 100% safe territory at that time. I remember somebody suggesting whether we could go, if it's 5 days, and sleep in Kanilai, and my answer was, no way. I can sleep there, but I can't tell people to sleep there, So basically, this was the team, or the result of the team we had to work with.
Mr. Kurang, can you clear my mind before we zero into AMK7?
Okay.
When you say this was the team you had to work with,
Yeah.
It brings questions about the autonomy of the commission. Can you comment on that?
What do you mean by questions about autonomy?
Well, the commission is to carry out a function. Didn't it have a say as to who would carry out that function?
No, I am the executing officer of the commission. When they give instruction, I carry out the instruction. So if they say, secretary, work with council, then council can give me who she wants to go with. That's not my decision. If they say, work with the Registrar General, I don't see my authority going to tell the Registrar General who to bring.
So in this particular instance,
Yeah.
what the commission said was you should work with lead counsel.
Yeah, and the Registrar General.
Can you direct me to where it says Registrar General?
No, he is, as I explained, that the order was given based on the report submitted by the Registrar General. I think you drew my attention to that. There was a report from him when you talk about the slaughtering of 400 cattle by a soldier. That didn't come from the commission, that came from the Registrar General. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So that report came from the Registrar General, meaning he is the one who was updating the commission on the ground. So if we are going to do this exercise, I can't, I can just go with my team blindly without anybody, to check my sanity with while I'm there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
When you look at the ruling of the court prior to the establishment of the commission,
Yeah.
it actually placed the livestock in the hands of Gilmer and not the Registrar General.
Okay.
And this is why I'm interested in your relationship with Gilmer once you had assumed office. Is it that in relation to the livestock, they were not present at all, as insinuated by the order, as you have read it in paragraph A?
Yeah, I mean, the order, as you said Gilmer should be in charge. It wasn't my responsibility to make sure that they're in charge.
Certainly, I'm not insinuating that they should.
So, when I went on the ground, I didn't see anybody from Gilmer telling me I am in charge here. I met some gynecos there and security soldiers, but I didn't remember seeing anybody except the people we went with for valuation and tagging.
So you confirm that the process did not have Gilmer as part of it?
They were with us for tagging and valuation, but what they participated in before that, I am not aware.
Thank you. Let's look at AMK 7. Are you there?
Yes.
Let me draw your attention to 4. But before that, Mr. Kura,
Yeah.
who prepared this exhibit?
This was what we got on the site. Of course, I take responsibility for this. The officers that were the Gilmer officers were giving numbers, and I was recording with my staff. Yes.
So this is a record of the commission.
Yes.
Thank you. Take a look at number 4.
Page 4.
No,
Number 4
on page 1.
Okay.
Can you read it out?
Number 4, tag number 1769 is a cow. The sex is female. Estimated weight is 110 kilograms. The price range is 19,800.
And the location was in Kanila.
The location was Kanila, yeah.
So walk us through, for me, in Dibakunda, we never had many cows. I want to know how these cows are valued.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the weight is a consideration, but please walk us through the valuation process as you have walked us through the tagging process.
Okay, yeah. I am from a gyneco family. Now, the valuation, of course, the question you're asking me, I had asked the Gilmer staff, asking them, on what basis do you value? And, the response, if I could remember, was we are using the valuation on the basis of the meat value on a whole scale. Because valuation is different type. And I know as an accountant, when I tell you value this company, it doesn't mean that there is only one basis of valuation. I can value a company on a continuing basis, meaning that I am selling you a van for a taxi, and I am assuming that when you get this van, you are going to also use it for Banjul Serakunda. That's a continuing basis valuation. Okay, there is the dissolving or the dissolution which is I sell you the van and you are going to scrap this van and maybe sell it as scrap. That's another form of valuation in accounting. In both cases, I can talk also about the market value and also the book value. This is accounting and business valuation. That I know.
Yes.
Now, when he spoke to me,
Before you proceed, please distinguish between the market value and the book value.
a market value for an asset or for a business is what that asset or business will fetch in an open market, in an open, transparent market. That's the market value. The book value is usually what is recorded in the book as normally the purchase price of the asset, maybe taking into consideration any depreciation that you have done. That's the book value. So the two are different. One is looking at the market. When you go to the market now, how much you will get for it or sell it for. The other one is looking at the past. That's the difference between the two. So when I asked him a question, I said, how are you valuing this? On what basis? He told me the concept of net value, if I can remember. I don't know whether I used the right expression. But when he was trying to tell me...
I'm sorry to disrupt your flow. When you say he, I know it's an official from Gilmer, but can we identify who exactly?
I think there were 2 or 3, and I don't remember the names because it was a few days of interaction. There was something, Cora or something, but that was my first time meeting them. And so I was curious. So when he tell me the mid valuation, then I remember challenging. I said, but the mid value is not the same value as a cow would fetch in an open market. Because, you know, as a gyneco, we have this thing. I don't know how to put it to you. For example, Ninsi Mujo be manke yerot. Ninsi Keo Fanam be manke turat. I don't know how to put it in English. Not every female cow.
Perhaps I could ask the Honorable Vice Chair.
Maybe somebody, Swaibu or Honorable somebody. But we...
Honorable Tura, would you want to assist us?
Yeah, Yero. You know,
It's a cow.
Yero is... Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
CALF. You are saying not every female cow is a calf.
It's a Yero. That means a calf that is ready to bear children is called a Yero. Yes. Not every male cow is a Tura. I mean, a Tura is identified for 2 reasons in a corral. Huh?
I think Honorable Mbe wants to bond as a
Yes. We need some
As a former gyneco,
yes.
you are quite right. Because you could be a cow, for example, a female, but you are not up to that stage where you can bear.
Yes.
That bearing type, that's where we call the wall of, they call it, the female part, they call the wulu, which means you are beyond calf,
Yes.
but you have reached the stage where you can bear.
Yes.
Now, on the type of the other side, which is the male part, you can be a male calf, but you are not kui, nekolo kui, tura.
Yes.
You are not kui. Yeah, exactly, because they are different sizes, even though they are all male, but they're different sizes.
You can't get married as a male. That's a Tura. Yeah.
What we are referring to is, in Mandinka, for example, is Yere.
Yes.
Yere.
So when you are buying a cow, when you want to go and create, like I explained in a business, continuing basis. If you are buying a cow for continuing basis, you only buy a Yere or a Tura. But that's not all female and that's not all male. So I had this in my mind, so I had to challenge the livestock because I know that if I can see Yeros and Turas, I know that their value tends to be higher than a normal cow. But if you value them based on meat value, then meat does not make any discrimination between what type of cow, whether it's a Yere or it's a Tura. So this was the basis I was challenging the valuation. But he explained to me that it is their custom to value as they do. And I was not the specialist. And that's why they were calling. So I can only ask, but I could not impose myself on another professional.
Fair enough.
So this is the basis on which these values were derived.
So this was consistent for all the cattle.
Yes.
Could you remember how many cattle there were?
The number of, was around 700 or slightly less than 7 or slightly more, around that.
Could 500 be a number?
Here, there were cattle in Kanilai, you could see. There were that's where most of the cattle were. Then there was Farato, and there was Banjulinding, which is not mentioned here, but is mentioned in our email or report to the commission to say that most of the cows were in Kanilai. Some were in Farato, the Farato farm of the ex-president, and few were in Banjulinding. The day we did Farato, when we finished, we went to Banjulinding, and we found that the cows had already dispersed. So I remember we just counted what was there, but we couldn't get the number of cows, but it was the lesser of the three. Yes.
So just to circle back a bit.
Yeah.
Upon assuming office, did the commission take account of specifically the cows, or did the commission take account of the assets that were attached to the schedule?
I think the commission was relying on what the Registrar General was providing. Yes. Because this was the first counting of the cows.
So each and every one of the cows itemized on this list were valued by Gilmer, correct? On that basis of meat value.
Exactly.
The document before you, could you read out 4, 10, 13, 22, and 27 for the record?
Which one?
You had already read out 4, so
Yes.
perhaps we can move to 10.
10. Number 10, tag number 1251. The type of livestock is a cow. The sex is female. The estimated weight is 105 kilograms, and the price range is between up to $18,900.
So the weighing, how did they do the weighing? What instrument was used?
They came as experts. So they, when they came, I asked them, "But where is the weight?" And they said they can look at a cow and estimate the weight, the meat value, based on their experience. So there is nothing I can do about that too.
So just to clear the record, no instrument was used to weigh. It was done through
Observation.
visual observation.
Yes, there was. I did not remember seeing any equipment.
Look at 22 as well for the record. And just read it out. 22, yes. Number 22 on the list. It's on.
Yes. 22, tag number 8494. Type of livestock cow. Sex female. Estimated weight in kilograms, 80 kilograms. Price range 14,400. They had a small calculator, yes. They had a small calculator, I remember. So when they looked at a cow, that's the tool I remember, yeah. When they looked at a cow, maybe they estimate the kilogram, 80 kilogram, they will multiply it by they have a rate for meat. Hello? Yes, like I said, they had a small calculator, now I remember, how to move from the kilogram to the value. So when they estimated that it's 80 kilograms, they multiply it by the meat rate, the rate per kilogram for meat that they brought, and then they get 14,400.
So they had an instrument after all.
Yes, they had a calculator for conversion from kilograms to dollars.
Let's look at one more from page 1. Read out 13, number 13 on the list.
Number 13, tag number 1751. Type of livestock is a calf. It's a female. It's considered to be estimated 8 kilograms and it is valued at 1,600. So there is the problem of valuation, continuing basis or meat basis, or Yero and Tua.
Honorable Chair.
I think what we have is 1,400.
Yes, sorry, if I did, I'm sorry. It's 8 kilograms, 1,440 is the price value for number 13. Thank you.
And that was for a calf.
Yes, that was a calf.
As a former gyneco, does the status of gyneco leave you?
Oh no, that never leaves.
So as a gyneco, would this price be reasonable?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that a calf, if you are using meat value, a calf has very little meat. This must be a very young calf to weigh 8, maybe newly born. So it's not even a meat. I mean, maybe in some countries, but in Gambia, that's not a meat. So if you value that, but you are still using meat basis. However, for example, if this is a female, if you give it 1 year or in 6 months time, in 1 year time, it can become a year, and the value would have shot up far more than this. So you see the technical issue there.
Sure. And just to ride along your experience as a gyneco, you have left your accounting experience to the side now.
Okay.
Most of the cattle that you have read out are female, and we see that consistently there is a higher price attributed to the male, or the bull rather.
Yes.
The male cattle.
Yes.
As compared to the cow.
Yes.
Was there an explanation for that?
Yes.
Is there an explanation for that?
Yes, because if you go to most cattle farms, you can have a full farm of maybe 50 to 100 cattle, and maybe there is already 2 bulls or 1 for a number of reasons. Because they can fight, and their fight can be deadly once they are real bulls. So most cattle owners like to preserve and have only 1 or 2, within there that can breed with the females. So most cattle farms usually have more females than bulls because of that reason. The other reason being that when people are killing for sacrifice and other things, they don't kill hero. Very rarely. They kill bull because once they reach a certain stage, they deteriorate in value. So you need to kill them before they deteriorate. while for the females, they can continue to breed, for a very long time. So you very rarely kill the females when you want breeding. So this may be some of the reasons why they are more valued, because why would you need a bull, right, or a tura in the cattle field? Is because of the power, the strength that they have. That's the main reason why they are there. So they have to be big.
So I am focusing on the valuation process because it also is central to our mandate as a committee.
Yeah.
And the committee is trying to make sense of the valuation. So, for example, you look at 28, which is a cow, and it weighs 110, and it is valued at just under 20,000.
Yes.
If you look at a similar weight for a bull,
Yeah.
the closest I can find is 53 at 165, and it's just under 30,000. It seems like the value of a bull consistently exceeds that of a cow.
Yeah, you have to also put in context that the cows at Janneh's farms are different species. There is what you call the local Gambian species. I don't know whether they call it Ndama or what in English. That's the Gambian. Then there is the foreign species. And when you look at them as a Gambian, you know that, I can be a guy now, but I've never seen this type of cow before, because they look different. With the hunchback, I remember asking the soldier, what is inside the hunch? Because I've never seen this kind of, he told me it's all meat. So they are different. That's all beefsteak on the hunch. So they are different, and it would the report did not mention the species, but that could be one of the reasons why you will have differences.
I was going to get to that, the species.
Yeah.
Was it, in your view, a fundamental lapse? I understand your position that you cannot dictate the work of professionals, but was it a fundamental lapse to omit the species?
I mean, yeah, you will have to look at it in the context of what purpose does it serve to put a particular description in your report. If you, they know the species. I only know in Gambia that there is a Ndama cattle, or only Gambian cattle. The other species may be from different countries, as I quote, and they may be better in position to explain, what are the species. But when I said the context, what I mean is that now you want value from the sales after you do the valuation. Right? For me, based on my experience of selling them, I mean, sitting here now, maybe that time I didn't have experience of selling cows or whatever, but sitting here now, what I experience, and also with the vehicles, you can put a value. A valuer may put any value for a cow or a vehicle or a tractor. But the sales value that you get depends on the process you put in place to make a sale. The more transparent the process, even if a valuer says 20,000, you can earn 60,000, 3 times that price, if your process is transparent. The less transparent it is, no matter what the valuation is, the less value you will derive. That's my experience.
You had mentioned that there were 3 points at which cattle were in custody. Kanilai, Parato, and I believe Banjulindi.
Yeah, even in Kanilai, it was not one corral. It was 2 or 3 corrals I mean, how do you call core in English? Okay, one group of cows. So it's not, herd of cattle were not positioned in one place only. There were about 2 or 3 locations. You have one core
Are you
here.
referring to the locations or the group of cows?
No, when you say core, it also means
The place,
a group stationed in a particular point.
okay, the range.
Yes, the range. But then they put them usually in a fence.
Yes.
So they will have a fence here for this range, and then maybe another place they have another range. So when you do here, you move to the next one, the next range, which are all within the Kanilai fence, but they are not stationed in the same. So in Kanilai, you have 1 or 2 or 3 ranges, and then you have, because you cannot keep 500 cows in one corral.
So before we move on to the other ranges, in fact,
Yeah.
when you say Kanilai, where in Kanilai exactly?
If you've been to Kanilai, you drive past the president's residence. Then you go right into the forest. Because I asked the soldier, how big is the place? And he said to me, it's about 10,000 square meters, 10 square kilometers.
And you made mention of a fence. So this whole entire place is fenced.
No, Kanilai is fence upon fence, or fence inside fence, inside fence, inside fence.
Are you referring to Kanilai the place or Kanilai the president's?
Yeah, Kanilai, the president's
Residence.
is fence, inside fence, inside fence.
Got it. That's it.
So in a particular area in there, that's where you have the cows in one location. Then you go to another area of the range, you
So-
find them.
Just to zero in to your analogy of fence, inside fence, inside fence.
Yeah.
Just to understand, there is a greater fence for the Kanilai, let's call it the compound, even though it's much larger than a compound.
Yes, that's what I asked, and they told me it's 10 square kilometers, the
Yes.
greater fence.
So there's a greater fence.
Yes.
And then there are specific points where there are ranges, which are also seemingly fenced,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. And other fences for other things.
Great.
Like the crocodiles will have their fence area, and then you will have the fence area of his immediate compound.
Yes.
Then you have maybe the fence area before you get out of the compound to go into the range. So like that, you go through gates.
So
Yeah.
the fence upon fence denotes that there was some bit of security with regards to the upkeep of the cattle. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's a very secure place. I mean, it was manned by, I believe, a battalion or something like that, because there were a whole lot of soldiers there. They never left.
So on top of fence upon fence upon fence, there was a battalion of soldiers manning the cattle.
Not manning the cattle,
Well,
manning
manning the-
Kanilai, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that was the case, then how come there is accounts or record of cattle going missing, except for the fact that 300, was it 400? 400 cattle were slaughtered.
Yeah, I see just like you saw that 400 were slaughtered. I don't know the circumstances under which they were slaughtered and who and why they were slaughtered. I just see the report.
So when in that process of identifying, perhaps what I omitted to ask was, who you did mention that you met some folks on the ground.
Yeah.
Who were those persons?
There was a major in charge. He's the one that we normally deal with when we go there. He's a major. You know, there's always one name, major, then surname. I forgot the surname. It is Sanyang or something. Yeah, he was the guy that was in charge of because I think within the security, they all have their maybe there is an overall commander, but this was the guy that we had to deal with when it comes to the cattle.
Okay. Please confirm that on this list, Banjul Linding does not feature as a point in which the commission visited a range.
Yeah, it's not here. Like I said, it was considered to be the list of the list amount of cattle there, and when we went there, they had already released them. We just met few on the way, so it could not have been reasonably, done here. But obviously, we were going to make sure that before the valuation, it was just a small contingent that we have taken note. But obviously, as you could see, at this point, after we conclude Farato, there was the telephone calls and there were emails, and then the process was transferred to the sheriff.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kurang. We were still on this point. We would still be on this point. However, all this talk about meat, I'm sure, has wiled our two chairs.
Appetite.
Yes, it's second us, and perhaps this is a convenient place for us to take lunch, Honorable Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Council. We can adjourn the meeting for lunch break, and we'll resume at 3:30. 3:30, we'll resume again. I think that's fine.
Thank you.
All right, meeting adjourned until 3:30. Thank you.